Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our MISAD Bulletin, and we shall start with our headlines. Iraqi Supreme Court ratifies May election results. 800,000 displaced in flooding in southern Indian states. And moving on to our details, starting with Baghdad. Iraq's Supreme Court has ratified the results of the May 12 parliamentary election, according to what its spokesman said on Sunday. Parliament's spokesman said the Federal Supreme Court issued on the afternoon of August 19, 2018, its decision to ratify the names received. Noteworthy is that the ratification makes the results formal, and lawmakers now have to gather and elect a speaker, then president, and finally a prime minister and cabinet within 90 days. This came after the parliament in June ordered a nationwide manual recount of the results after a government report said there were widespread violations and blamed the Electoral Commission. Meanwhile, U.S. forces will stay in Iraq as long as needed to help stabilize regions previously controlled by Islamic State, according to what a spokesman for the U.S.-led international coalition fighting the militants said on Sunday. Colonel Sian Ryan said in Abu Dhabi that the main reason after ISIS is defeated militarily is the stabilization efforts, and we still need to be there for that. So that's one of the reasons we will maintain a presence. He also said that the number of American soldiers could go down, however, adding that about 5,200 U.S. troops are currently based in Iraq. On to Cairo, an Egyptian man who hijacked a domestic Egypt Air flight in 2016 and ordered it to land in Cyprus has been extradited to his homeland after giving up a drawn-out legal fight. Authorities said on Sunday that Saifuddin Mustafa was transferred to Egyptian custody and flown back to Egypt late Saturday, where prosecutors are investigating the incident. Cyprus Justice Minister said that Mustafa's extradition went ahead after he dropped a 3-year court battle to avoid extradition. It's worth mentioning that Mustafa hijacked the Egypt Air flight in March 2016 using a fake suicide belt and diverted it to the Mediterranean island of Cyprus. On the other side of the world, some 800,000 people have been displaced and over 350 have died in the worst flooding in a century in southern India's Kerala state, according to what officials said on Sunday, as rescuers searched for people stranded in the worst affected areas. The downpours that started on the 8th of August have triggered floods and landslides and caused homes and bridges to collapse across Kerala. Thousands of rescuers were continuing efforts to reach out to stranded people and get relief supplies to isolated areas by hundreds of boats and nearly 24 helicopters, according to the top disaster management official in Kerala. Meanwhile, a strong earthquake jolted the Indonesian tourist island of Lombok on Sunday, causing landslides and damaging buildings. The U.S. Geological Survey measured the quake, which was centered in Lombok's northeast, at magnitude 6.3 with a depth of 7 kilometers. It was felt on the neighboring island of Bali and was preceded a few minutes earlier by a magnitude 5.4 quake, also in Lombok's northeast. National Disaster Mitigation Agency spokesman said the shaking toppled motorcycles and there was damage to buildings in Simbalon sub-district, including a community hall that collapsed. He also said so far there have been no reports of injuries or fatalities. And finally, our economic news. Iran told OPEC on Sunday no member country should be allowed to take over another member's share of oil exports. In a meeting with OPEC Secretary General, a senior Iranian diplomat urged him to keep the group out of politics. No country is allowed to take over the share of other members for production and exports of oil under any circumstance, and the OPEC Ministerial Conference has not issued any license for such actions. Words reported by Iran's oil ministry news agency Shana that quoted the permanent envoy to international organizations. And before ending our news, let's take another look at the most important headlines for today. Iraqi Supreme Court ratifies May election results. 800,000 displaced in flooding in southern Indian states. And this was the end of our Mitzvah bulletin for today. Thank you for joining us and see you tomorrow in a new bulletin.